CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we are live.
We are back on another Wednesday evening. Welcome, game fans. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're returning or just checking us out for the first time.
What's up, gamers? It's CFM Radio, and I think, you know what, Drix? It's been a rough week, I gotta say. Internet problems. I'm glad tonight is okay. I had problems earlier downloading some stupid trailers for some of the games we're going to talk about tonight in the new releases section. But you know what, Drix? It all ended up okay. I've got a decent internet connection, and you know what? Hopefully, I'll be able to get back to right back in the saddle for Sonic Frontiers next Tuesday, because I really, really, really want to get into the meat of that another story, dude. I really want to, like, I just started playing as Amy. Amy's one of my favorite Sonic characters. Fucking
yeah. Now you've got some interesting post game to dive into after I saw the credits roll on the last stream.
Indeed, the post game is actually kind of interesting too. So I'm excited to jump right into it. So they'll return on Tuesday. We'll jump right back into Sonic Frontiers. Drix, that Tuesday will be following a Mother Monday, right?
Yeah, this coming Monday is going to be another Mother Monday. That's going to be July 29th. Around 8 o'clock. It'll be going down over on CFM on Twitch.
Hell yeah, that's it. Remember, everyone, that is twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch. Make sure you are following us over there, and you're subscribed to us here right now on YouTube. So, Drix, I gotta say, we might have a couple of games to talk about that are. We got a stacked new release week. First of all, it's pretty nuts, if I say so myself.
Yeah, and you know we like to mix it up and have different genres and different game tastes to account for here. So we've got a little something for everybody.
And it definitely something for everybody, including our VR folks. But Drix, I want to go into first. I want to talk about some more Angerfoot, because I've had a little bit of time to play a little bit more, and I'm not going to harp on too long on Angerfoot. And unfortunately, I didn't grab any new footage. Well, the footage I did grab, just sucked. That's not true. It just was not good footage. But anyway, really quick, let's just because you and I played another game. We played together, and I want to talk about that. But before we do, really, just to give my final thoughts on Angerfoot, put a nice little bow on the present, or a cherry on top, however you want to put it. I could see why this game's getting a lot of good reviews from mainstream outlets. It definitely evokes a sort of hardcore aesthetic that and gameplay style that you don't see often in games like this. Especially, it's got a fun gimmick in the foot, the kicking. Like, it's got a great little gimmick like that. But Drix, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, for the sneakerheads.
Yeah, oh, definitely for the sneakerheads. But like I said, Drix, I gotta tell you, this game, it's pretty tough, and it gets kind of frantic. And it can be hard to get your bearings in the beginning. But once you really learn how to work the foot with the gunplay, you'll have no real problems in this game. It kind of bills itself as one of these more difficult styles of games. And while it has the, I guess the challenge mode or the challenge option to complete more of, to rerun a level and do it like maybe with only your foot, maybe with under, like in a speed run time, under 50 seconds kind of thing. In total, I think that took me about 6 hours. So it's
okay.
pretty short.
I mean, you got an enjoy it pretty quick when everybody's coming at you, right?
Yeah, and that's definitely the feeling that you get, and it's because it's pretty short and it's very frantic. But I think it does it because I'll say it like this. I don't know if I would give this game a 9, but I would definitely give it a solid 7, like 7.5, 8, because even though it's short, it has that slight little bit of replayability in the challenges. But I will say that it's not like this doesn't get old. I took breaks in between game sessions and played other games. I came back to it. At no point did I ever find myself absolutely glued to the screen and like find myself wasting like 6-7 hours on this game, right? You know what I mean? Like totally like engrossed in it. That never happened to me.
Yeah, that'd be the total run, right?
Yeah, and you're right. It would be the total runtime. And I never felt compelled to finish the game in one sitting. So, and it wasn't because it was like, oh, that's so frustrating. Oh, you know, it's really hard. It's that it's one of those games where you're gonna play it, and it's gonna come at you fast. And by the end of your first like 2-hour play session, maybe you'll have gone only through like 3 or 4 levels because they're that brutal, and you're just gonna feel gassed. You're gonna feel kind of like, whoa, I gotta take a break, like, cause you gotta think really quick. I guess the pun would be you gotta think on your feet all the time.
Yes, think on those sneakers and react quickly to whatever's coming at you in those rooms when you kick down the door.
And like I was saying last week, Drix, the way you could kick down the door is great. The interactivity of the levels is great. The level design itself, I found that towards the end of the game began to feel a little archaic, as weird as it might sound. I didn't feel as though the game was pushing itself in the level design department. It felt kind of like I was playing an old school Doom clone style game by the end, where I was wandering through these halls and kind of getting lost, and then hitting a dead end and retracing my steps, and then running back through it. And then I was like, oh, this is why it wants me to redo the level in 50 seconds, right? Because like you could get lost and there's clearly a correct way to do it. So like I would say about by the time you're in like the 4-hour mark, the illusion gets broken. At 4-hour total in-game time, right? The illusion gets broken and you're like, damn, that's there's clearly a right way and a wrong way to do literally everything in this game. And if I'm doing it the wrong way, then I just kind of either need to accept it and muscle my way through, or just get killed and restart and figure it out. And I don't know I think your mileage may vary on where you as a person will land on that spectrum, because there is a lot to love about the game. It's got a fun aesthetic. It's got a wild soundtrack. Just like, again, this like insane, like high octane dubstep shit. It was wild. Like, I thought it was cool. But yeah, this is one of those games where like you step away from the PC after like intensely beating like 2 levels and you're like, damn, it's only been 45 minutes, but holy shit, I'm in this game. In fact, I gotta go get a drink of water. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's costs a bit of processing power on the old mental there, huh?
indeed, yeah. Especially like you said, when everything's like is coming at you all at once, and you're figuring out the game from a baseline, and you're trying to understand which door is the correct door to kick in to get to the actual next area, instead of maybe a either dead end or like a little bonus area that's like has like cool villains and shit like that. Maybe it's got a nice weapon at the end, or maybe it has it's part of the another mission where you need to kill every enemy inside the level itself, So, like, you needed to go down that, right? It's because the one thing about doing challenges is it awards you stars, and that's how you get more sneakers. And the sneakers kind of act like the masks in Hotline Miami, where if you have a different set of sneakers, you get different effects.
Yeah, you can try different stuff going into different levels.
Yeah. And that's one of the most, and I'll end it on this. One of the most fun parts about Angerfoot, funny enough, is getting through it. Because by the end of the game, you feel like a badass. It does a really great job at making you feel totally fucking awesome at like every step of the way. Like you end up feeling like you're just this crazy dude who could think on his feet because, bro, you're running into a doorway, you're kicking through it, you're running past the first guy, capping him in the head as you're doing it, and then you're just smoothly moving over to the next guy, unloading and like making sure you're hitting his friend, kicking the other guy that's coming up right next to you, and then you're throwing the gun at the guy across the map, and then you kick in the next door, and you kick in the next door with his body, and then you got a guy throwing a grenade at you. You kick the grenade back at him because you see that shit coming from a mile away, and then it blows up half of the arena, and you know it's gonna blow up half of the arena, so you just turn around and start gunning people down on your right because you know they're there. And like you just feel like just a crazy Terminator badass by the end of it. But I mean, by the end of it, you've also probably ran a few of the levels far more than 3 times to get your challenges because you want a few sneakers and you want to experiment with everything. So it does a really good job of playing into itself. But the game, it throws a lot at you. It throws the kitchen sink at you from the jump. There is no downtime unless you make it. Really, like there is no downtime in effective gameplay because there really is just no time for you to have any downtime because you get shot 2 or 3 times and die instantly. So like there's not a lot of incentive for you to keep stopping or for you to even slow down and assess what you need to do in the level. You really are just encouraged to just push forward no matter the cost. So if you like high octane action and you like gross out visuals and strange evocative aesthetics with a banger soundtrack, and you're never given any time to appreciate any of it because you're having way too much fun killing everyone, you might want to try Angerfoot. It's pretty cool. For my money, though.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What would you give it out of 5?
I was just about to say, for my money, though, Drix, it's about a 3 out of 5. I don't think it's going to jive for everyone. It jives for me, but it definitely doesn't jive for my girlfriend, and it definitely doesn't jive with one of my brothers. So, right there, I think you kind of need to either be in a specific headspace, or you need to be looking for something like this.
Yeah, maybe not winning any awards, but still a great time if you're looking for this particular colorful piece of action.
Absolutely. And so it's also cheap, right? It's also a cheap game. I'm not going to give it inexpensive. Let's say it's not cheap. It's inexpensive. It's only $25 on Steam. It's not on a console right now, so you also might want to wait on that if you're a console head. Or that's another thing I'll say. This game is if you don't comfortably if you're meeting minimum requirements only, you might want to skip it. There's a lot of physics. There's a lot of quick motion. Enemies can come through the doors through doors that you have yet to explore if you're not careful. So they come out of nowhere. They're hidden from behind the walls. The enemies are moving all the time. So everything is in motion, including the doors that come flying off the walls. And there's a lot more like that happening all at the same time in Angerfoot. So if you don't have the PC for it, you might just want to wait for a console release. It's only $25. I think it's a 3 out of 5. It might not jive for everybody, but I think the people that it will jive with will absolutely just fall in love with Angerfoot. So check it out if it looks like your thing.
Nice.
Yeah, Drix, does this one look like your kind of deal? Would you check out Angerfoot?
Yeah, if I'm looking to do some first-person aiming, I might just enjoy it just for the style, atmosphere, and the music for sure. I gotta hear the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack is wild. It's pretty crazy. Like, I haven't heard that kind of heavy electro in a long time. So it was pretty crazy. It was pretty fun. It's very immersive, very fitting for what you're doing in the game because everything is moving so fast.
Yeah, did I see your character peeing after a level complete? You know?
Hell yeah, it's got that kind of attitude.
Very Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody loves Conker's Bad Fur Day, but I'll talk about it in a game that me and Drix, actually. You and I both played this one. We played it together, Drix. And this is a game that not very many people have come to love, we have found. And that is Concord. So, Drix.
Yeah, not Concord. Concord.
No, yeah, not Concord, California. Concord.
Nope.
So, Drix, up front, what'd you think of Concord?
You know, hero shooters, there seems to be a nice little pile of them out there in free-to-play land. And, a lot of them share some similarities. Some characters you might even feel can be, like, kind of copied and pasted from
archetypical
one game to the next, or at least, like, even in role-playing games, you have, like, your tank, your DPS, like your healer. It's not a bad pillar to lean on, but you gotta have like your own identity amidst all that. And I think Concord fairly enough like manages to do that. It sets itself apart with like the physics. I mean, to me, it felt kind of like heavier, but at the same time more dynamic in that some characters have double jumps, some characters have triple jumps, and there's even like a fast dodge that kind of takes me back to Helldivers 2, like the dive, where you can really kind of rely on that to get out of the way and avoid damage whenever possible. But you're seeing on the B-roll the big robot character. I ended up trying him first, and he didn't get around too quickly. He's kind of he's on the heavier side, so he kind of left me with a slow, heavy taste in my mouth as far as how Concord plays. But I really did like the strategy. I tried maybe 3 or 4 characters, and it is kind of fun to play out how they synergize with team building and stuff. Like how MOBA is this first-person shooter, and I think that's what sets hero shooters apart for me anyway. Is like, are you like whether you're casting magic or shooting guns, what's the team building going to be like, and the strategy. And there's only 2 game modes too, pretty much. There's your
2 main ones
match, and then it's mostly just team deathmatch. But there's also a like kill confirmed mode where you have to confirm kills after getting them. So grabbing the little item badge after taking somebody out on the map. It's pretty interesting, and you can you kind of pick up ammo for your abilities throughout the maps too.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And that's something I can say I haven't seen much. Usually everything's like a cooldown, so
right.
It does stand apart from other stuff like we play like Paladins or Valorant or Overwatch.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all of that. The main thing I will say, Drix, is I'm just gonna say it. This game does not make a great first impression. Like, it in the beginning, you know, it kind of, like you said, there's a dodge. The game doesn't really go out of its way or even make it a point to tell you up front that the dodge is there and how useful it is. You know, it doesn't make it a point to tell you that pretty much all the characters can double jump. It doesn't, you know, there's a lot that you need to figure out on its own, and it lends itself to that decidedly old school feel, I guess. But
that's one way of putting it.
There's a lot that, like I said, that could be desired as far as the new player experience. Like, because for context, I played a lot of it. I played about, I think I clocked about 20-ish hours into this game. So like,
nice. Yeah, you had a nice weekend.
Yeah, I baited it up, baby. So like, this is me on the B-roll right now. So like, it's a cool game, and I think I agree with you. I think you hit the nail on the head when you say this game has its own identity. When you get the thing is, I have to put an asterisk by that, and the asterisk would translate to once you get everything going. Because yeah, dude, once you get used to multi-jumping, once you get used to dodging in between cover, once you get used to how the maps work, and like the weird Call of Duty kind of feel to the game flow, like, you know,
a bit more Call of Duty elements than your average hero shooter.
Yeah, it's jarring at first. I'm not gonna lie. You're kind of like, whoa, why am I supposed to like be mobile all the time? Like, because you know, you win a team fight in a hero shooter, and you're kind of just like, all right, we're gonna go for it, and we're gonna stick together. But like in this game, you kind of want to be mobile all the time, moving all over, because the main modes are deathmatch modes. But I will say, once you level up a little bit, you do unlock the competitive modes. And I played a fair amount of those as well. So let me see if I can flip over to that B-roll right here. Also, now again, not gonna sugarcoat any of this. I don't think any of these characters are particularly like fun to look at. No, I didn't. I learned to like a lot of them. I'll say that.
Yeah,
again,
not very memorable.
No,
especially on your first impression.
Right. Like when you first begin the game and you're looking at the spread of characters, I would not fault you if none of them jumped out at you.
Yeah, but you're not falling in love with them until you actually learn their abilities and what
right,
they do in combat.
Exactly, and that's, again, it plays into what Drix was saying and what I really do agree with, in that when the rubber hits the road in this game, it's actually very cool, and it does have its own feel and identity. Especially right now, you're seeing the competitive mode. It's I forget what it's called. They have some dynamic name for it, but there are two kinds of modes in here. One is a zone control, and the other is a like a capture the flag, but it's like a little intel bot. And this is where the game actually, for me, began to really shine, because this is where really the teamwork and all of the high stakes style of gameplay that you're used to in a hero shooter actually begins to come into play, because these modes that you're playing, these competitive modes, they also, see them that right there, I died. I'm not going to be respawning. These are no respawn matches. So you can and that implies that you could either do the objective or kill the entire enemy team.
Yeah, it's also stealth if no one survives.
And you know, that's one of the things that I actually think, again, Concord really gets right. It really gets right that training the player to think in the way that, all right, so kills are really important. and getting killed is really bad because you spend the first like 6 levels, which is like a whole like hour and a half. It takes a minute to unlock these competitive game types. So it's you play for a while and you're playing team deathmatch and kill confirm, and you're like, damn, I just got to get good at killing, and then you jump into this. So by this time, when you see a no respawn match, you're like, oh shit, so this is high stakes. And then it really feels like an actual test of skill when you begin to play these modes, because when you die, that's just it. You can no longer play the game until the next round. And it means being a flanker is really, really like committing to that flanking role is really, really scary. You really got to know what you're doing. You know, like, see right here, I'm playing Lennox, the dude bro alien, and like, you know, I tried to go in for a flank, but I got seen by 3 people. But it was okay because I was able to rendezvous with my team, and now my team is here, and we're all on the united front. So it's a very and like you said, adding the you could see it right here if you're watching the B-roll. You got to you pick up the knife that Lennox can throw after an elimination, and his self-heal recharges after an elimination. So after you kill somebody with Lennox, you get a unique drop, and one of his abilities recharges. So it's very it's very aggressive, and they really want you to really go in on your enemies and really try to go for those kills. So and I feel like that is a stark contrast from these kind of, like, I like to call them like sit and sweep hero shooters, where you just kind of sit on an objective and sweep the enemy up. Like, you know,
yeah.
I feel like it's got a lot of it, since it's so aggressive. Concord, I should say, is so aggressive in its gameplay style. I feel like that will set it apart. But Drix, I don't know if it's gonna get over this bad first impression, dude.
Yeah, there's mechanically you can see that if it becomes popular, say like if it did become an e-sport and people were competing at this at a high level, it would have some like really nail-biting moments attached to it.
Oh no, I totally agree with you. I think the skill ceiling on this game is deceptively huge, and it kind of makes me want to pick it up. But again, dude, I can barely, like, the only one I really know the name of. Oh God, we've got subtitles on the B-roll now, so I can see their names. So, like, you know, I don't know any of these characters, and I don't really care about any of them. And I'm not saying that.
You gotta have enough style and atmosphere.
Yeah.
To keep the eyes intrigued, and you play a little bit of the popularity contest when you're stacked up next to, you know, Diva and whatever.
Drix, the worst part about this game is that the visuals I actually think are amazing. I just think it's a design fail.
Yeah, the graphics actually look great. Characters and environments.
Yeah, the graphics are
some kind of cool factor, you know?
Yeah. The visuals are insane in this game. It sounds great. When I was playing the game, it sounded amazing. The explosions were meaty. The gunshots sounded like they had weight. Like, the haptics work great on this. The haptic controller works great. That feedback is awesome. But, like, you know, I don't care about any of these characters. And I don't know if getting a game that's like, all right, $40 up front, and now like pretty much like your entire account is tied to this game. It's like, nah, I'm okay.
Yeah, it's not worth it for like the Marvel DC, you know, D team.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's Concord. I feel like Concord might have a shot because I think if enough people give it the time of day, you're gonna find a pretty rewarding and immersive shooter experience, especially if you go up against somebody with a similar skill level than you in Concord. Like if you're a decent team and you go up against another decent level team, one of you guys is gonna come out feeling like you guys graduated. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. All the mechanics are there and ready for you to play into. So yeah, good luck, little game. I hope you're received by the right folks.
I mean, it's an interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the full game sells, because you got to remember, this isn't one of those live service games just like anybody, like Marvel Rivals, let's say, or Overwatch 2. You got to pay $40 for this.
Yeah.
Like Helldivers.
Will that be a barrier to access?
Well, and will people even like, or will that just be an even bigger deterrent for some people, right? Because it might be.
Yeah, no, it's likely.
So that's Concord. I think that if you give it a shot, you're gonna find a good experience. But I think I don't think everybody is going to do that, and I definitely don't think that it's going to be. It's a game that's aiming to be for everyone as well.
No, it's not drawn that way.
Nah. And that's Concord. So maybe I'll check it out again in the future. Maybe if it's discounted. I could see Concord being a game that you would want to check out with your buddies if it's on sale for like $25. But like, other than that, I don't know if you should go run out and buy it.
Yeah, if it comes down 25, 30, 50% off, then we're here for it.
Yeah, we're here for that. But, I'm here for this crazy chiptune beat. What is this? Hello, Andinacan. Thank you for tuning in.
Adenkan. Nice. This song that's going to take us into our musical break is actually Animal Crossing for the GameCube. This is the normal 5 p.m. song.
Normal 5 p.m. Animal Crossing. We'll be right back. This is CFM Radio. We have new releases coming up next.
CFM Radio. CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we are back.
We are back, and we are very much alive and here every week, as we usually are, to talk about some new releases.
We got some new releases this week, Drix, and this week is packed, man.
Yes, quite the bag full of them.
First up is A Ranger, a role-playing puzzle adventure. This one is coming out on
what we're calling a role puzzling adventure.
Absolutely, it's a role puzzler. And this is from the Steam page. Quote, A Ranger, a role puzzling adventure, follows the story of Gemma, a small town misfit on a journey of self-discovery. Venturing out beyond her stiflingly cozy confines, she finds an inspiring world, but also one ruled by fear and a strange, immovable, static force. Can she disrupt a culture of stagnation and find a place to fit into it? And this role-puzzling RPG is hitting PC, PS5, Switch, and Mac tomorrow, Thursday, July 25th. Drake's, all these games are going to be coming out tomorrow, dude.
Yeah. Thursday, July 25th is going to be games for the Macintosh gamers out there, out on the App Store, living that life. But that I was once in that boat, and glad to see they're going to get something fun. You know, I love a good puzzle crossover, almost like Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo.
Absolutely, that game is awesome. And you know what? A Ranger is looking like it's going to be a fun little game for everyone. Again, that is Switch, PC, or a PC, PS4, and Mac tomorrow, Thursday the 25th. Next up is another fun little interesting game coming out for more than just your consoles. That is Thrasher. This one goes out to our VR gamers.
This one looks pretty cool.
I definitely agree. And this one, and here we go from the Steam page.
Like,
quote,
I'm getting this colorful and all over the place in this weird dreamscape, if you will.
Like Rez style dreamscape, right? Like craziness.
Yeah, very surreal, very artistic.
And from the Steam page, quote, Thrasher
in its presentation
is a mind-melting arcade action odyssey and a visceral audio-visual experience. With the wave of your hand, guide a magnificent space eel through breathtaking and unsettling landscapes. Swoop, dash, and thrash to defeat wild bosses and in the ultimate race for survival. And Drake's Thrash hits the Meta Quest 3, 2, and Steam for PC tomorrow, July 25th. That's Thursday. It's packed Thursday. Drake's, this VR game, it's looking pretty crazy. Definitely Rez inspired.
Development team. Guys, it's Brian and Mike. One guy does the art, music, and design. The other guy does the code, helps with design and research and development. They're musicians too, so kudos to them. Brian's the bassist for the band Lightning Bolt. And they've both done some great work, and this is just another sweet notch in their belt, making some real artistic stuff and very interactive.
Yeah.
We don't always talk about VR games, but this is one I'm glad to give our special CFM form of a little bit of press.
Well, hey, you know, we gotta make the effort, right? To like, all kinds of games deserve the spotlight. And this one, even VR games, and this one is pretty cool. And you know what, Drix? I'm glad you looked that stuff up, even if it caused a little bit of interference on your end, because I had no idea. Both of these guys are musicians. One of them does the code, one of them does the animations and the music. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, man. Rock Band VR and Fantasia Music Evolved, like they've definitely worked on some music games and have quite the experience under their belt. So yeah, as soon as I get a VR headset, I'm coming right for this one.
And that is Thrasher, coming out for the MetaQuest 2, 3, and Steam PC tomorrow, Thursday, July 25th. And finally, Drix, we have the final game coming out again, coming out tomorrow, and that is Earth Defense Force 6. It's the 6th one, Drix.
Nice. Yeah, humanity's in a bit of a desperate situation with this one. I've definitely enjoyed previous installments of Earth Defense Force.
And here from the Steam page, quote, "Live the future of despair. This year is 2024 AD. The survivors fought against the remaining threats while trying their best to continue their recovery. 3 years passed in the year 2027. In a new world without hope, the time has come to once again resist the fate of Earth." And like the title says, this is the 6th installment of EDF, with its over-the-top alien bug smashing action. And you, Drix, you're a fan, I'm a fan, and we can catch this one on PC, PS4, and PS5 tomorrow, Thursday, July 25th. This is going to be a good one, Drix. I can already tell.
Sci-fi and a whole lot of action. So yeah, that is a lovely recipe for me anyway.
And you know what? We are just about we will be winding down the show just in a little bit here. So we will go to another musical break. But so Drix, what is this fancy music we've got playing in the background right now? Drix, are you with me?
Yeah, you're cutting out on my end. Sorry if I'm...
Oh, my bad. I was gonna say, what are we listening to right now, my brother?
Say another music break? Or we heading into the next bit of news?
You know what? I think we might want to head into some news. And we should just move on into the final portion, because you know what, Drix? Now that I'm looking, this news is a doozy. Because, so if you've listened to the show before, you'll know that Drix and I are not the biggest fans of generative AI. Not the biggest fans of AI art, and we're not the biggest fans of the whole AI craze. It's a little weird, and we think it might endanger some jobs, but nothing really conclusive has ever really surfaced, let's say. But I will say, in a recent article by Wired that just came out today, or yesterday, sorry, just came out yesterday. It's kind of paints a dire picture of AI in the game industry. And here it is from Wired.com. The headline is, quote, AI is already taking jobs in the video game industry. And that's not hyperbole. That is what is going on in Wired, or in the game industry right now. And this Wired report has everything that you need to know. Again, that is, quote, AI is already taking jobs in the video game industry. That's the headline. Now let's just jump right into it. The article begins by telling us the story of Noah, an anonymous pseudonym given to an Activision Blizzard employee who recounts an email from Michael Vance, chief technology officer at the company, about how, quote, artificial intelligence was the top of mind at the video game publisher. Systems were still being tested, Vance wrote, but, quote, what we have seen thus far holds a ton of promise. This is followed by the following quote, where, quote, where executives saw reason for excitement, many game artists, writers, and designers saw a direct threat to their livelihoods. Noah was grief-stricken. And it's it gets even worse if you can believe it. Because if reading further, quote, a recent survey from the organizers of the Game Developers Conference found that 49% of the survey's more than 3,000 respondents said their workplace used AI, and 4 out of the 5 said that they had ethical concerns about its use. Now, you guys might be wondering, how deep does it all go? You know, these Noah's interaction and email with Michael Vance happened all the way back in 2023. Well, reading further, we can figure it all out. Quote, by the end of the year, Activision made an AI-generated cosmetic available for purchase on the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 store. In late January, Microsoft laid off 1,900 Activision, Blizzard, and Xbox employees. Among the teams hit hard were 2D artists. What a fucked up day, quoted a one-time environment artist at Blizzard Entertainment, Lucas Annunziata, posted from X. Half of the environmental art team cut from Overwatch 2. Folks I helped hire and train. And that's another thing. If you've been listening to CFM Radio, you'll know that we've had probably the most catastrophic year of layoffs in video game history. We had one of the people from XCOM 2 come out and say he's been a veteran in this industry for over 15 years, and he said he's never seen layoffs this bad. And now we can see part of the layoffs problem is this generative AI. And unfortunately, folks, it goes deeper. Another quote here illustrates just how far it goes. Quote, in Japan, the startup Crypto AI hawks AI-generated character illustrations that typically cost upward of 100,000 yen each to outsource can be obtained from Crypto for a flat monthly fee of 4,980 yen and a commercial license for 980 yen per image. Per Bloomberg, that's $692 for one human-made illustration versus $34 a month for access to an endless stream of AI-generated variety. A human artist still needs to touch up the output, but they can be paid a lot less than the cost of retaining a staff illustrator or for a full custom design, quote, says the article. And folks, that's just how it is right now. Right now, the AI rabbit hole is so deep, regardless of anything that anyone might say, because these decisions were made back in 2023. So the Call of Duty skin is just the beginning. One interesting note, however, is the use of AI in the gaming industry as a whole. The report details that the video game industry is one of the industries most reliant on AI, as it is used to influence environmental gameplay experiences and control player opposition in the form of enemies. It leads us to a final quote from a veteran AAA game developer. Quote, AI isn't bad. It isn't bad and in and of itself. Sorry about that. Says Violet, the veteran AAA games developer. It's bad when the end goal is to maximize profits. AI can be extremely helpful to solve complex problems in the world or do things no one wants to do. Things that are not taking away somebody's job. And folks, that's the long and short of it. The AI is already here. It's in the game. It's already dealing catastrophic damage to the industry directly. You can see that huge publishing companies, the EAs, the Activision Blizzards, the Tencents of the world, they're all in on it. And this article from Wired proves it. And unfortunately, I hate to be abrupt and I hate to end on a downer, but that's going to be CFM Radio. Drix will join us.
To quote South Park, they took our gerbs.
They took the gerbs, Drix. They took it.
People have to, how you say, earn a living, in society, and
one of the things that
these AIs, they don't need to put food in their mouths necessarily.
I will say one of the things that I didn't touch on too much was the general pushback that still exists in the general amount of pushback that still exists in the industry towards something like this, because there are studios that say straight up no, but they're smaller.
Yeah.
And
yep.
when the artists in question get laid off from these big studios, they end up getting recruited by smaller studios that need them. But again, going from Microsoft to a small indie studio, that's a lifestyle change.
Yeah, absolutely. And whether or not you're working remotely or showing up into an office, it's a big difference.
And it was an abrupt episode, not much music, but that's gonna be it for us here at CFM Radio, folks. The internet problem struck at the end. Now you know why we couldn't exactly do the backlog beatdown this week, but we'll be back next week. Hopefully the problems will have subsided.
Yes.
But anyway, Drix, that's going to be it for us.
Yeah. As always, we'll be back Wednesday nights. We'll give you the video game music and news.
Video game music and news. That is CFM Radio.
CFM Radio.
Yep. Mother Monday's coming up over on Twitch.
Mother Mondays this Monday. Backlog beatdowns after that on Tuesday. Make sure you're signed up over or following us over on Twitch, twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch. And we will see you next time.
Have a good night.